Again, YouTube, this is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited, the object editor commentaries, where I create your favorite characters in the Scribblenauts Unlimited object editor. This is from movies, gaming, TV show, kind of nerd and geek culture related items, all that good stuff. And so hopefully you're excited. We're starting off with a man as the source object for today's creation. We're going to be creating W.D. Gaster from Undertale. So just one last thing to say about the requests and stuff. Go ahead and leave them in the comments, and just whatever is most popular or most requested will be getting created each week. But if there's ever too much of one kind of franchise or too much of one, I guess, category of objects being created, I will often step in and sort of break up the monotony, and that's actually W.D. Gaster has been request for, this has been a request for a long time. We've just done a lot of anime stuff lately, and a Dragon Ball Z character actually was the most popular request with Gaster as well. So I had to sort of pick between the two, but we're going to do both of them. So next week, you'll get a specific Dragon Ball Z villain. I'm sure most of you who requested it know what I'm talking about, but that'll be next Sunday. And this here, you see that we took all of the limbs off of the man for our W.D. Gaster creation. We did start off with the man as the source object, as I said, but then we placed down an egg as the body, and that's just all black. And again, you want to take off the legs because W.D. Gaster, it's like you can't really see legs and stuff in our presumed appearance of W.D. Gaster, of what he looks like. And so with that, the egg is just sort of the body and everything. It's the character's almost going to be floating, you could say. And the two hands, they are different sizes, just like, the W.D. Gaster, if you see images of it and stuff on Google Images or wherever, even in Undertale, you can tell that it's sort of disproportioned, and the arms or the hands or whatever are two different sizes. So we have reflected that. It pains me to see, I guess to create this character, I have to sort of make things not symmetrical. They have to not be proportional and proportionate to each other and stuff. And so it is sort of going against my normal inclination. But we will just create this as one solid character because it's actually a pretty simple one. We don't need to make the head and the body separately. The only time you would really need to do that, especially, is for in Scribblenauts, you do have a stamp limit. Anything we place down to create our object is a stamp, so you are limited in how many you can use in a game called Scribblenauts Unlimited. I know it's weird, but we will not run out of stamp space on this creation, and so we don't need to do the head and the body separately. That's the reason that you would do it, is to save stamp space and get all the details and all that stuff. But anyway, we've got a golden egg as the head, and a regular egg is used again, all black, for the eye that's to our right, his left, and we've got a mango spear that's going to be for the other eye on the other side, so that would be his right eye to our left, and we're going to use the letter I, that's going to be for almost like these tears. I don't know if it's a crack or a tear coming down that leads to the 29-page library arm shape, which is the right side for us of his mouth. It's his left side. That's from the 4th page of the 29-page library. And then we use 2 from the 20th page. It's like the straight arm in the top right corner of the 20th page on the 29-page library. And then the letter I 3 times again for that crack look up above his mango spear eye that you saw us editing. And you can use the letter I also for that eye that's there on the mango spear. But since I'm not totally convinced that this should be our final design, I think I'm going to try this arm, and it looks a lot better when I place this. So this is an arm from the 22nd page of the 29-page library. It's sort of bent or whatever. It's kind of down near the bottom, and I think that that's going to do better for kind of our left side of his mouth right there. So then we'll take the fin of a grouper. A grouper is like a fish, and so we'll paint it all white. Make sure that it is on the body grid for your object right now. It's going to be sort of for this white point in the clothing coming down here on his chest. And so we're virtually done here, so I guess we can go ahead and read background information and fun facts, which is what I do whenever we are at the properties editor. As you see on screen, not a lot of action is going on, so this is a good time to read it. So here we go. W.D. Gaster is shrouded in much mystery. The character as a whole and the story of the character. What I'm about to read off comes mostly from the official wiki, but I believe the wiki itself takes from conjecture and theory rather than official fact with this particular entry on Gaster. Gaster, so please understand that as I read the following. There are several rooms and unused assets found in Undertale that point to what WD Gaster might have looked like, such as the figure in room 269, where there is a figure widely believed to be Gaster, which we've based our entire design off of in Scribblenauts here, where approaching this figure will cause it to react with a surprised look and vanish with a sound effect. His existence is really mostly hinted at by characters like the River Person and Gaster's followers. In talking to the River Person, they say, "Beware of the man who speaks in hands." There is pretty well-founded speculation that this alludes to WD Gaster because the typeface used in the entry number 17 room uses hand symbols, or the Wingdings font. Speaking of, it is presumed that the WD before the Gaster name is an allusion to the Wingdings font, while Gaster is like Aster, which can have many meanings, whether it's the font Aster or a suffix in botany referring to an incomplete resemblance between two similar plants. With both Sans and Papyrus's names being fonts as well, people have many theories about their connections to WD Gaster, and even taking Sans' supposed connections to Gaster further, we do know that Sans has a broken machine in the workshop behind his house, and the possible connection is furthered by his use of a weapon called the Gaster Blaster during his fight in the genocide route. But anyway, you can see we've got Gaster on screen right now, and I'm going to show you some scripting in case you want to kind of allude to his Wingdings and show them off in this game. If you go into the scripting part and do when this object moves near an object, take off the box for repeatable, then basically make it create an object twice. So one's going to be a white finger, and probably instead of a white glove, we'll actually do, I'm going to edit this and do a white hand. The reason that I'm changing it right now is because I realized I did forget the glove is a little bit darker. I want these to be solid white, so the hand will make it solid white. And so here's what happens. Basically, when I move by Gaster, or any object does, he will drop out those little hands. And so I did a finger because sometimes some of the Wingding fonts, they have pointing going on. So there it is. You can do a lot more, and if you don't do the scripting the way that I just did it, I can actually show you here. We'll go in and edit our object right now, and I'll change, instead of just having the box for repeatable ticked off, we will go in and actually check mark it. We'll turn it on. And so here's what's going to happen. We'll save that and go back to the map, and this is going to be somewhat entertaining, but it will be a hassle to clean up. But here we go. I'm going to go right next to the Gaster, and then look at this. There's like a whole bunch of crazy hands and fingers, and everything just comes out like nonstop, basically, until the game can't handle it anymore. And yeah. So again, I'm going to have to place a giant bomb to explode all of those hands, but let's cut that out in editing. And alrighty, so we've got our Sans and Papyrus creation that I did back in episode 146 and showed off again in episode 147. And yes, they're all here. I actually do not know the sizing in relation to these two with WD Gaster. I don't think I've ever seen them side by side or anything, so hopefully they are proportionally correct. But if not, go ahead and edit it in your game, of course, and make Gaster do what you want it to do. I have him shooting out a hand as his projectile as well, so that when he fights people, he will shoot out a hand. But yes, this episode is actually a short episode because I had a lot to do this week. There was a whole lot. Hopefully you've seen or will see the monthly Scribble review for March. I do these every month, for each month. But I also had family obligations. We had the live stream on Monday. We just had a whole bunch of stuff going on, and some people know that I care for my dad, who is elderly, and he wanted to, for the life of him, he wanted to, before he dies, see the JFK Memorial exhibit, and so we actually went over there together during the week, and so that took some time off from my YouTubing as well, and some other stuff, so it's been a week of scrambling, but that's also why I could not do the many forms of the Dragon Ball Z villain that we're going to be doing. Yes, most of you know who it's going to be, but if you don't, at least I'm keeping somewhat of a surprise for those who don't know, and it's going to be spoiled in the comments below, of course, so everyone knows what I'm creating next week, and I usually don't like to reveal that, but it's okay this time. But alrighty, that'll do it. You guys rock. I'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing. They're meant to bring justice to all wrongdoers. They're like a spectacle, so you can be the viewer and
down the road up